Hello and welcome back to Stacia 2X. You know what? Just get straight into it. First, we need bees. Because we want to finish the Elementium at least today. So, we got to get the Elementium comb. The Elementium bee is made through a whole process. First thing we need to get is the iron bee, which is made from breeding the crystalline bee and the ashy mining bee. We find the quartz nest. And here we are sifting some draconium from purpur. This is to craft the nest. And we set up some extended package crafting. And we can set up a little enclosure for these bees because we need to breed them and crush some children. Alright, we are back. As you saw in that montage, as I said, we got these package crafters to automate the ender flux and the advanced crafter. And we'll do one for the crafting core when I get time to do so. What we're working on right now is bees, actually. Mostly because in order to get a Wooterum, the ingot, it's this recipe. All of this I can craft and it's perfectly fine, except for Elementium combs. And in order to get an Elementium bee, you need to get an iron bee, which is what this over here is. This is a giant farm. There was two more in here. They come in here. So the basic process was you need to breed these ashy mining bee and crystalline bees until they give iron bees. Oh, they're there. And that sucks because these have a lot of byproducts. They have like 6 different bees they can make. These guys were annoying. I hate them. I'll probably kill them. But once you got 2, I had to keep breeding these to get a bunch of the iron bees. And then when you have an adult bee, you can put it under this piston on top of a bottler with bottles inside of it. And I'll show you actually. Put the adult bee in there. Sacrifice won't be forgotten. Crush it and you get squashed bee material. And we can run it through this centrifuge and that'll give us a bunch of gene samples. So these gene samples will allow us to give certain genes to the bees. What we care about is the gene sample type iron. Here, we'll throw that in. As you can see, I've been collecting, but I have 2 iron samples here. So using these 2 iron samples, I'll put them over here. So we'll grab the honey treats, and I believe it's just like this, right? And does this need power? Yeah. So what we can do with this is we can put an egg here and the honey treat here, and this will try to make the spawn egg for an iron bee. All right, we can plug it in. Oh, it's working. Let's just speed that up a ton. And there's the iron bee spawn egg. Yeah, we need to mana infuse it and then trade it. With this spawn egg, we can go like that. The mana steel. And then like that. The other one got in here. So with that, actually, that's it. Let me grab a feeding slab and like put it right here. This flowers off of a block of Elementium. So what I'm gonna do is fine. I'll just start with the Elementium bees. And these guys can breed, right? Cannot breed amongst themselves. That's annoying. Alright, I'm back a bit later. I've set up this drawer setup. I don't think I need the second Elementium here, but I think it looks better. So I'll leave it. So yeah, basic setup. I had to move the feeding slab into the ground like this. And underneath here, as you can see, I just have an entangle block to the beehive. I have an exporter putting the bottles. And then this is taking out normal honeycombs, honey bottles, and Elementium combs. And I already have 42. And I've been here 20 minutes, I think. So what we can do is make up the recipes. Alright, I'm over here. I'm gonna turn off my magnet just in case. I want to craft 1 Wooterum. Looks like we have all this stuff. It's crafting. What's our monopool situation looking like? It's barely keeping up. Like, it's not keeping up. It's slowly ticking down, but it'll be enough to craft it. And Wooterum. But yeah, that's a Wooterum done. Next up on the list is this Wooterum slate. which is actually should be pretty easy to make. So let's see the slate. Looks like I can craft it all. Crafting up another Qumu term. We're crafting up the advanced processor, and the crafting core broke again. Get to the dissolution chamber. It's already done. Ah, there it is. Already 2 quests done. So in order to make the infusion altar, so let's make up all this, and we can craft up the core. We need 1 of each of the goddess ingots, and we need 2 Awuturum slates. We'll make another one. What am I missing? Oh, white petals. I'm back with the other slate. We can put it here, and we can put the crafting core in the middle, and that's the infusion altar. Woo! And as you see, we need 8 of these pedestals, and I have the crafting tree up right now. So I'm gonna montage the rest of the mystical agriculture stuff. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. You craft with the altar, get the next tier seed. So I will see you on the other side.
Chasing stars and holding on. I can't see the end, but I see it through.
Alright, I'm back, and a few updates. We now have the packaged crafting core. This is way faster and way easier to make, automated than the normal filtering setup I have to do. I will need to set up the enchanting apparatus later, which kind of sucks that I have to redo that. But here's the infusion altar. You see, I only had this semi-automated. So here we have the infusion altar, and coming over here, we have my MA farm. I think it's pretty much the exact same design that I used in Alt Mods 9, but that's mostly just because it's a farm I know how to use. I did change it slightly, but yeah, for now, this works, and I've got giant drawer walls. They're not sorted at all, but I don't expect to be over here. And this building's not done. I didn't want to put the roof on it until I knew I had all my seeds done. I think this is all the seeds I'm going to need, but for now, we'll leave the roof off, because when we get around to crafting the vending machine, it's going to take a while to actually craft it. So my current plan is actually to finish up all the building around the base while it crafts, or the materials for it crafts, because I do want to do the craft myself. So yeah, moving on. Now, all of that mystical agriculture, technically, the only thing I needed was the Insanium setup, which over here, this bottom layer is entirely in Inferium, and all of this is on Insanium farmland, so it's as good as possible. These lily padded fertilities are making them grow really fast. Tons of resources now. I haven't set up any of the craft recipes for most of these, except for, obviously, over here, I have passive Insanium and Appetite, and I only have passive Appetite because this is used in almost all of the steels. This was the reason I didn't get the crafting core, is because it required a ton of Appetite, because black iron is oil, soul catalyst, and dragon steel required 2 Appetite per, and you needed a ton of black iron. So yeah, it's good to have Appetite on passive. But yeah, so we have the Appetite essence and the Inferium essence piping into this crafter that's just crafting both of it up, and this master infusion crystal, which is not as bad as a recipe as it looks here. Most of this we had already auto crafted. These are all internal crafts, so when they craft, both the infusion crystal and the essence go in here, except for the Insanium, which obviously goes into this drawer. And then I just have auto crafts to the lower versions. But yeah, this is the MA setup. You can see in my inventory, actually, I have another quantum compressor. Obviously, I have this one for Ender Catalyst and Black Iron Slate. So we can set this up really quickly, like right here. We can put the Flux Network on it. And as our catalyst, I'm going to use the Awakened Core. And for the item, we're going to make the Creative Essence. It takes 16 Insanium per. And this will be our first creative item, technically. Like, it doesn't give us infinite of anything, but like, it's a crafting recipe for all the creative stuff. So everything up here is technically everything we need to finish the pack. And that's based on these quests. Obviously, each of these quests have a ton of steps at this point. First of all, let's just craft up one creative essence. Yeah, woo! We can pick up the Awakened Core there. We can pick up 1 to 4 Insanium. And 3, not bad. Okay, well, really is the beginning of the end. So now we have quite a road ahead of us. I think everything for the Philosopher's Stone should actually be done. If I check out this ultimate crafting table, I should have everything for this. I should just craft that before, so I don't set up the gold one. But yeah, Ewuterum, we have all the stuff to automate that. Ultimatium, we have all the stuff for that. Awakened Draconium is going to be a struggle on our energy supply, but that's perfectly fine. Yeah, we should be able to make that like right now. This is going to be a problem. These two recipes. Madeline Strawberry, which I think is a reference to oh god, what's it called? Celeste? I don't know, the funny trans game. Never played it, not my type of game. Yeah, either way, this is one of the end game items that we need to make. Done, done, not done, not done, done, not done, but yeah, like it's literally just grow a crop. Okay, so this is basically done, and I already have superheated set up. We are back. Now, that was a long time for me. So, to catch you up on everything we've done, because that was a long time for me. Like, actually, most of it has been waiting, actually. So, everything we've done in the last minute and a half for you is I fully progressed through Project E and Project Expansion. And I have this little, like, setup here making final star shards. This is not to craft with them. This is to use them for EMC. As you can see, I have 2.4 quintillion, which should be plenty, but I made this final power flower. And I will tell you, when you're doing the setups, do something like this, where it's, let me break that. There's the, what is this thing called? Energy condenser in the middle. Surround it with the relays and then the collectors. absolutely 100% do this setup way earlier than I did. I did not know how this worked, and I was manually inputting like fuel into each of these. Oh, it was terrible. So don't do that. This makes it so much easier because you can pipe in and out of that chest properly. So yeah, basically EMC gives us access to pretty much a lot of stuff. Anything in the game that has an EMC value correlated to it, we can now basically get infinite of. And I would say the best use of this right now is actually coal, because it's really cheap comparatively to everything else, and we are running out of it. I'm just tossing a ton of that in my system every so often. So it wasn't just Project E that I went through. I also ran into the issue of these jelly babies down here. Because these are required for singularities, and you need 3,000 per, I've had to make this setup, which is a ton of them feeding off of the fluid XP from the mob farm. And then there's one of them that's going off of my personal XP in the obelisk up in the main base over here. This is what it's draining from, as you can see. I made a 5th prosperous bee, and I swapped these over to prosperous bees because the fun part about Project E is that some items that have EMC are just infinite. So as you can see, I have Uwuturum slate. I have a ton of them, and that's because I have them in my EMC, and I can just take out a ton, and that EMC bar don't even change. So there's no need to craft Uwuturum ever again, which actually really helps. But we also have infinite Uwuturum over here in this. I've added XP and lead as 2 seeds that I've been needing, but I don't think I need them. And of course, probably the most important thing that I kind of just skimmed over is if we come down here, boom, our first creative item, the creative energy cube. Now, I will not lie, I did that entirely because this power setup has been garbage, and I did not want to spend resources making it because of how close we were to the energy cube. So I went ahead and made the energy cube. That's going to be our primary energy source for now. That's me catching you guys up. That's pretty much everything we've done. And I mean, we're like, I think at this point, like close to 20 minutes in the video. And I pull up the creative vending upgrade. I want to say at least half of this is still on not crafted, but there are some of these creative stuff that I can just absolutely make right now with little to no issues. And I will say, this is the last time you are going to see me, probably before the end of the game. I'm going to montage the rest of the creative items, and we're going to be done. I'll give more thoughts on when I actually finish the pack. It has been quite a while actually, and I'm ready, I think. As you can see, I've gathered up all the creative items. We can pick them all up here. I need to pick up the cube and the fluid tank. So yeah, basically to try not to bore you guys, because honestly this process was kinda boring. And that's partially on my end, because in the process of getting these materials, obviously most of these require an ultimate singularity, which requires like 3,000 of all these items. It's a whole process and it takes forever. So the first thing I got was the energy cube down here. I've set up a little power bank for after I get the cube so that we don't just immediately run out of power. A ton of these crafts take forever. One of these singularities, first of all, jelly babies, these take so much XP. I'm gonna be so real. This sucked. This was easily, before I figured out how to make this properly, this was my biggest bottleneck. Once I figured out the jelly babies, the second one was electric motors. Oh my god. These were so bad. Where's the electric motor? You need 256 of these motors, or 216, and each of them, you can do it in ultimate crafting, so it is easy to automate. Each of them require a hydraulic engine and a fermator, which needs dielectric casing. Both of those are only create crafts, which means that, first of all, this is the build I had for the dielectric casings. This takes forever. I'll be real, this is my biggest complaint with the pack. I'm going to say it right now. Please don't use create crafts as endgame. Crafters are fine when you're using stuff like the watch of time here, which increase the speed at which these run. Like if I order up dielectric casing, let's say 10, see how fast that goes? Without it, it's this fast. So like these crafters are fine. What's not fine is this. This is the only way. This is the only way to craft this hydraulic engine. There's no other way. So honestly, my bad. I probably should have put this on passive, and I would recommend you guys do it if you're not at this part yet. I would passive this because I easily needed thousands of these engines and they take forever to craft. But yeah, I should have passive this. That's on me. But while this craft can be sped up with the watch of time, this one, if I order a hydraulic engine, order 10, this one straight up breaks. And if I turn this off, it works like normal. Now I turn it on, it's just stuck again. You can't speed this up. So if you're going through this pack and you watch to the end of this for some reason, get this watch. These watches are actually pretty cheap for what they are. And these act like a time in a bottle just for everything around it. It made this whole setup 100 times better, 100 times faster. Should have gotten them way earlier than I did. Highly recommend that. A lot of this was just like small crafts like these basin mixers. The only notable build that I had to make, you know, there's one or two. Over here, I have some manual crafting set up. Obviously, I have this whole setup for the SPS or fissile fuel. I'll show that off in a second. For antimatter and all this stuff. But there was also, over here, I have a cake crafting and the blaze cake crafting, which apparently I put one too many in. They're simple stuff. I had to put my hazmat suit on, and I'll quickly show off the SPS setup. In the mining dimension, I have this setup, and it was very ramshackle, is that the word? It's cobbled together. It was bare minimum to get what I needed, because I only needed 14 antimatter, 6 for the chemical tank, and I believe 6 for the Tome of Knowledge to learn everything. 8. Yeah, so it was 14. So, and there are only 100 antimatter to 1 pellet in this pack, so it is fairly cheap. But yeah, I did not need a big setup. Honestly, thank God, I absolutely despise mechanism reactor setups. This is my bane. This burns me out every time. Burn me out in all the mods. I didn't even get to that in Enigmatica, but this is my least favorite part of mechanism, and it really sucks because I like the rest of the mod. And also, every pack does the fissions thing for antimatter. It's always there. But yeah, very basic setup. It's only done in the mining dimension so that the radiation doesn't get to my main base, because I think it took about 2 seconds for that to spit in my face and spew radiation everywhere. And over here we have the mage tower. I can't believe I forgot about this. I think I'm fine with leaving it like this. I think most of the pack most of this world is going to be left as is. I think right now, all I'm focused on is finishing the pack. So if we put all this in and we look up the creative vending upgrade, what am I missing? Oh, the cube. Okay, well, no, let's remove the cube like that. I can craft it, but because I used the cube, it's technically has an MBT data attached to it. Wait, wait. I didn't even need these three. Oh, come on. You're telling me I made creative items I didn't need? That hurts. Honestly. I didn't check the recipe. I checked the quest book. So these three, not the cube, the pot, the requester, and the disc manipulator, don't bother getting. They weren't expensive, so it's not that big a deal. If you're using refined storage, you can probably use it. Yeah, I didn't need to craft it. Yeah. Pick all this up. And I made up a second crafting table to craft this. Let's click on that. What?
No!
No! Oh, no. I'm sorry. Cheats. Shit. I went to control click. Oh, that hurts. I have cheats on in case I need to, in case I lose something like vital. And it, I wasn't thinking. That's my bad. It's not auto-filling. And there. Pretend the quest pop-up just popped up. Oh, that's so bad. And that's infinite create vending upgrades. I mean, we can just apply to this. We basically have infinite of everything now. We just need to get another of the item. That is pack done. We check farewell. A message from Zulu. You're almost done if you made it this far. I hope you enjoyed the pack. I hope you finish this quest and read the note I left you. Really thank you for playing. When I started making first Stacia Expert, I didn't even expect 1,000 downloads. But thanks to you, all of you, it has now exceeded 230,000. Then I decided to make the sequel, and here we are. I'm sincerely grateful to all of you for your support. I'm glad you're here, and thank you once again. Zulu. That is the pack done. With the creative vending upgrade, I'm done with this pack. Any amount of cleanup left, I'm gonna be honest, I'm just gonna leave. I think part of this base is its absolute jank. There's something about a mostly empty base. I mean, I got the expert pack done. Are you still following me, man? I'm trying to make a monologue here. Anyways, coming through here, especially in this room, as you can see, it lags so bad with the shaders. And I don't know, this pack was really fun. Any amount of my complaining, I don't want to undermine how much fun I did have with this pack. All in all, the only real issues I have with the pack are the quest book, really. There's some JEI issues, but I believe that's EMI. But really, the only issues I have with the pack are small stuff. Like, I don't think these tabs really are that useful. It's not like an egregious crime. I'm not telling you never to play this pack. Pack was fun. The actual gameplay and progression of it, I really did enjoy. What I do have issues with is just the presentation of the quest book. Other than that, I mean, this was a fantastic pack. I had a lot of fun, and it was a short pack comparatively. Let's not talk about my time played. 16 days with the world open. Listen, there was a lot of AFKing, especially at the end. I think when I started this episode, I was at 12, so like a quarter of my time played on this world is in this episode, and that was mostly just, you know, waiting for autocrafts to finish, because like these induction smelters are fucking terrible. I don't think there was any like upgrade to them, but you had to use blocking mode because all the recipes that had 2 ingots were messing with each other, and ugh, it was terrible. But again, I'm done with this pack. I'm gonna leave this world just as is, and I believe I'm gonna save this world and really quickly want to talk about the future of the channel, because we are nearing 500 subscribers, and thank you for that. It's great. Really grateful for any of the views and stuff that I get. But I do want to mention I am coming up semi soon on the memberships unlock, you know, probably sometime during the next series if I'm consistent and I grow at this rate. And I just wanted to ask you guys real quick, is like, what's your thoughts on that? Would you guys pay for members? I don't have anything that I give you. The only thing I can think of really is the world logins, or not the logins, the world saves when I finish them, because really that's the only thing that I can give you of worth that I'm not already putting in the videos, I guess. I want to hear you guys' thoughts. Would you pay for a membership? It would help me increase some of the production quality by getting like paying for a music subscription or something. But I don't want to offer something that I don't have. And like really the world downloads is the only thing I can offer. So I don't want to set up the whole membership thing just to be like, I'm taking your money. So yeah, I'll leave you on that. Those of you who care, let me know what you think about the memberships that I mentioned. And please let me know if you think that's a bad idea or like whatever reasons. I want to know your input. I want to know what your guys' thoughts on the pack were on my series. Is there anything I missed? Is there anything that you would like me to change for the future? I want to improve. And I'm probably going to take a small break after this video to sort out my thoughts and, you know, really get a good start in whatever next pack I'm doing. But for now, I would like to thank you guys for watching, and I guess I won't see you in the next episode of Stacia 2 Expert.